Oh, come on. Let me unmute the mic. Unmute the mic.
It's already unmuted.
Man, this is how we start. We start a half hour late, and then the mic's muted.
Well, you're the one talking about the Saurus.
All right, the Saurus is an ancient dinosaur, and people need to understand this. The Saurus.
Yeah,
it's one word.
He's literally the Bigfoot's brother.
No.
Oh, because the
Bigfoot's brother is Yeti. All right, the Saurus is very similar to a T-Rex.
So this isn't a tech show anymore. We talk about mythical creatures like the Yeti.
No, we talk about the Saurus specifically.
Mythical creatures like the Yeti and Bigfoot.
Oh man, we are good. We are good people. You know that?
Exist.
We are good people.
They do not
we
exist.
have a tech show here to talk about.
They don't exist.
We have a tech show here to talk about.
They drive Porsches though.
I mean, what? Like, I don't even understand. What's the point of starting this show anymore? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
What's the point of anything?
I mean, there's the
anymore,
Saurus.
man?
That's true. I mean, what's the point of? Never mind. So anyway, all right.
We're a dinosaur show.
No, we're not a dinosaur show.
Yeah.
We're not Wordsaur. Come on, like
no,
Wordosaurus. Okay, so anyway, all right, hello everybody. That was our little fun moment there. Welcome to WordCast number 56. We have a lot to talk about this time, especially some new insights to NVIDIA's wonderful GeForce partner program, which is a beautiful thing that we're very excited to talk about. Just how awesome it is.
I love it. I'm gonna buy more GeForce products.
I mean, NVIDIA is awesome. I'm very excited to see them doing this, and AMD should just go die. I mean, there's no point anymore. Yeah. So anyway,
especially their CPUs.
Yeah, especially the GPU department.
No, their CPUs.
Oh, especially their CPUs. Yeah, exactly. And we're also going to talk about the TESS satellite.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that stands for. I didn't look into it, but let's say it's something that orbits the Earth. So, stop being mad.
Excuse me?
No. The Saurus. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining. Though this is quite exciting. We have nobody watching right now. So wait, nope. Now we have one person watching.
You?
Okay, no, that wasn't there earlier. It doesn't count me. Sure. Are you watching it?
Nope.
See, so it doesn't. Yeah. So anyway, we got a lot to talk about this time, guys. There's quite a bit of news, a decent amount of PC news, as well as there wasn't a super big week for a lot of the PC news, so we've actually got a lot to talk about that's not necessarily PC related, but it's just awesome tech related, like the TESS satellite, for example, SpaceX as a whole, and other stuff like that. But
when don't we talk about SpaceX?
I mean, it's true. It's almost every time. But it's a bigger segment this time, though, we should say. But anyway, the first thing we're going to jump into, though, is a new interesting case that came out that he's going to buy. So anyway, he's going to spend his money on this. Der Bauer is a world-renowned overclocker. He's a really awesome guy. He does a lot of good video content. You guys should totally go check out his channel. It's DER8 BAUER, just so you guys are aware. Wait, I added the B there by mistake. Anyway, that was pretty bad. All right. So the 8 is the B, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, he's super awesome. He does super cool stuff. So he designed a case in partnership with Lian Li. Again, one that he's gonna buy. Pretty exciting. So, I really do like it when overclockers and other people that are really into the industry work and partner with a company to design a case. Because, like, the good old the Tower 900 that I have over here was designed primarily by Watermod France, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, even though Thermaltake's not known for the highest of quality parts a lot of times, and it's still true here, the case is extremely innovative and unique. And it's the same thing here, even though it's still based on a prior chassis.
So my question, when are you going to design a case?
Actually, I'd like to, and I do have access to a machine shop, so I'd like to design a case at some point.
Make a custom case.
I might do that at some point. Actually, that'd be a great video.
Not at some point.
That'd be a great video.
Do it.
Sorry, I will do that at some point. So anyway, though, so the new case is by Lian Li. It's the PC011, which has been around for a while. Dynamic, so it's a new version of it. It's pretty exciting. It has a lot of interesting features. A really interesting radiator layout. Unfortunately, I still don't have screen capture set up. I forgot to do that. Dang it. Oh, that's so important for this. Anyway, I apologize for being unprepared. But if you look up the PC011 Dynamic, you can find pictures on it and the like. Really exciting new case, though. I think he did an incredible design, even for air-cooled, if you're not going water-cooled, or even not going AIO-cooled, you're going pure air cooling. It's actually a pretty unique setup and has the potential to look really cool, and I think still function decently with just standard air cooling, which, I mean, depending on what you're doing in the system, there's reasons you might want to do that. Now, from my understanding, they're supposed to be releasing a more air cooling focused version of this a little bit later. but I don't know what the name of that's going to be, so I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, it has two 3.5-inch bays in the back portion of it. It's a split case, split down the middle, and four 2.5-inch bays, as well as two USB 3.1 Type-C, so that's pretty cool. I believe it's 3.1 Gen 2, although I didn't find any information directly on that.
From what I remember correctly from Hardware Connect's video, it is.
Oh, okay. So it's okay, cool. Which is great because Lian Li, I mean, they're one of the companies that should be focusing on that kind of stuff. So this is really exciting. I'm excited for this case, even though I just bought a case and I'm probably not buying this case. He's gonna buy this case, so I should do a review of it still. That'd be super cool.
If you keep saying I'm gonna buy this case, I'm not gonna buy this case.
And you should buy this case so I can review it.
Buy your own fucking case.
I have 7 cases in this room right now.
Clearly that's not enough.
I mean, I guess not. I actually, when this came out, I was like, I just bought a case and now I want this. But I also don't think it's going to be the best setup for a workstation use like me. It doesn't have as many hard drive brackets that I need and stuff like that.
But it supports 2 power supplies.
It does support 2 power supplies miraculously. I can kind of understand the reasoning behind that though, because
let's clarify something. If you take out the hard drive,
the 3.5-inch dry bay, then you can put in a second full ATX power supply, which may seem really weird, especially on not a giant case, right? Like on something like this, or even like the N3 Primo from Fantex, it makes sense to have dual power supply mounts because you might be putting a real serious workstation or something in there and need the extra power. Although EVGA just released a 2200 watt power supply. So, but anyway, the reason I see for having 2 mounts in this was A, because there was space for it, but B, I do think that in some instances you may want more cable management room, so you may want shorter power supplies. So putting 2 600 watt units in there might make more sense than a single 1200 watt.
And then even not for that type of thing, but think about, this is a budget case. Think about the people that are upgrading to something more high-end for the first time. If you already have a decent 500 watt power supply, why go out and drop all the money on a 1000 watt if you can just
just buy another 400 or 500 watt and pair them together? So I can actually see, there's some use cases for having that. And so since they could fit it, it makes sense that they did. They might as well. And I appreciate that. That's something that Lian Li is generally pretty good about, though. Not just their power, but also Lian Li in specific is including features because they can. Yeah. Like, oh, we can make this fit, so we will. Like, I have one of their cases. It's the... oh, no, I think it's the PC06S, I think. Let me look it up, actually, because I cannot remember for some reason. Oh, man, I'm having troubles here. Lian Li PC06, I thought, PC06S, I think is the right one, because then there's the bigger one. Mine's the MATX version, but it's a wall-mountable full aluminum case, and there's also a lot of unique features that they have on it, and I mean, I can appreciate that. They do a lot of work to make sure that everything that does fit. It's the PC06. Okay, I was right. Yeah, so anyway, it's exciting to see Lian Li releasing this case, but here's what's really special about this case, guys, and what really sets it apart despite being a full custom machine. A lot of custom design work gone into it, and just really good quality like you'd expect from a Lian Li case, because they've always been good in that department. It's only $129.99, right?
That's European pricing?
Oh, right.
It's like $160 US.
Good point. Okay, it's more US. Okay, but that's still cheap. And now, that may not sound cheap to some of you that maybe don't follow the case market very, very specifically, but that's really cheap for a Lian Li case. My PC06, which is a smaller case with less features, albeit it's all aluminum, not steel. Like, this one's mostly steel, correct? Yeah. But that's a $400+ case. That's a lot of money for a case. And I mean, I love it. It's a wonderful case. I've been very happy. The quality is just absolutely flawless, perfect, beautiful thing, but it puts a lot of their cases outside of the realm of possibility for a lot of people, even people that want to build a fairly prestigious system. Spending like $400+ on a case is kind of crazy, and also a lot of times people that are doing that, they end up if they have the money to do a $400+ case, they have the money to go up to something from like Case Labs for $800 or $900 and get a much more robust, customizable, even higher quality case for like a crazy water cooling loop or something. So I really like to see Lian Li going into the more budget for them oriented areas. Yeah. And so when are you planning on buying this?
I don't know. When it's available.
Okay, let me get this straight though. You are probably going to buy it at some point.
It depends.
You should.
I don't really want to spend $160 right now.
I didn't say right now. I said at some point.
Wait.
it could be your next case.
130. Okay, 130 on Newegg.
130 on Newegg. Okay, yeah, so it's
out.
still available. It's sold out because.
And it's only the black one.
Okay, right, makes sense. Okay, so probably gonna be a. Wait, no, scroll up. Let's click there. See if it gives you the option for the white. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. So you can get both of them, and they're both 130 according to Newegg. Now it's out of stock because they probably just don't have them yet.
So,
but
yeah. Okay.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is a little bit of Intel news here for you guys. So Intel is releasing the 8086 processor. In theory, this is a rumor. Now, some of you people that have been around a while or are really into the history of computers probably are asking yourselves a lot of questions right now. The 8086 is a very, very old CPU.
That's why they're releasing it. They gotta get
in
rid of
terms
that
of
stock.
it's the 40th anniversary of the 8086. So the i7 8086 is rumored. It's not technically official yet, and the source that I have listed here is from Hexus.net. But 40th anniversary chip is named after the 8086, but this is the i7 8086. So keep that in mind. This is not they're not re-releasing the old product, but it's just really cool that they're using the same name. I actually do like them going back to this kind of nostalgic setup. Now, it's got 6 cores and 12 threads, just like the i7 8700K. So, very similar. In fact, it's very likely it's just the exact same chip, but maybe binned a little better because the boost frequency, according to the documents that were released, is 5.1 gigahertz. Now, it's single-core boost, but that's still really high. I believe it's 4.8, I believe is what the 8700K's boost is. I'll find out really quick for you guys, but I'm pretty sure 4.7. 4.7 is the boost speed from the 8700K. So, I mean, 5.1 is pretty insane. That also means Intel's confident that each one of those cores can hit 5.1, very likely, unless they're binning for a specific core. And so it's likely you'll be able to get the entire chip, all of these 8086s that release, up to 5.1 gigahertz across all cores, albeit at some power and temperature costs, of course. So 12 megabytes of L3 cache and a 95 watt TDP. So, you know, it's pretty cool. It's exciting. I mean, it's nothing super special. It's probably going to be limited edition. We'll have to see. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a limited edition chip that costs like $500 and comes in like a special metal box or something, which would be totally fine if that happens. Like, people want to pay for that. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, that sounded loud.
That was loud.
Anyway, sorry about that, guys. I know what that was. It startled me at first. So anyway, yeah, 8086 is being re-released, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I mean, okay. Cool. Intel, I guess, right? So more Intel news, though, jumping into the Coffee Lake 8-core rumors. So this has been a rumor for quite a while, as they'd be releasing like an 8800 or 8900K or something of the sort. That would be a I can't talk, an 8-core part, or potentially releasing it under like the i9 branding for the mainstream platform, which, I mean, at this point I feel like they're kind of forced to. So this is actually listed on the Intel site, so it's very likely that it's real. As a Coffee Lake S 8+2 spotted, 8 indicating 8 cores as far as I understand, and so it definitely looks to be like this is actually going to be a product that comes out, which shouldn't be surprising to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm curious about clock speeds. I'm also curious about how the IHS is going to affect clock speeds, because as we know, Intel doesn't use the best thermal interface material, and if they still don't use very good thermal interface material with even more cores and a larger die, you're probably going to have even more issues with removing the heat, and so overclocking is going to be destroyed at that point, and you're going to have to delid to get a proper overclock out of it, a really good one. Now, I think Intel, they're kind of forced into this. At this point, with AMD owning the mainstream stuff so well in terms of how many cores you can get, I just don't see a reason why Intel wouldn't do this. They kind of need to be forced into this, because the 6-core 8700K is fairly matched with a 8-core 1800X, not in single-threaded by any means, but in multi-threaded. Those extra 2 cores and 4 threads from AMD do a big difference, and so they kind of are neck and neck, even with a properly overclocked 8700K. And so Intel, if they want to be able to win on the mainstream, they have to do that. I just find it funny that Intel scales up so quickly, because they were a monopoly for such a long time. All of a sudden now, here's 6-core, here's 8-core parts on the mainstream, and here's up to 18 cores on the high end, right? And it's like, they could have done that at any point in time. I mean, they could release unlocked 28-core on the high end if they wanted to. They have the ability to do that. Now, it'd be really, really, really expensive, and they disable ECC and crap like that, but it's just their Xeon chips, literally unlocked. And so they could do that on the really high end, release even a 28 core if they wanted, and have it fully overclockable. Yeah. Not that I would imagine you'd be able to get something like even 4 gigahertz out of that. Yeah.
See, that's the thing is like they've known how to make good high end cores for a long time because they do it for their Xeons and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
They just didn't have the incentive to do it for consumers.
Nobody was pushing them to do it. Yeah.
Especially when people were still regularly buying new hardware.
And people were buying new hardware constantly. Quad cores were still the thing, and it's just like quad cores. It's like that's unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that we got stuck at quad core and then we just didn't go past that for a while. Yeah.
Well, realistically, it was because there's benefit to it, but there wasn't a need for it.
I mean,
and as long as...
Well, I guess you could say on the mainstream, yeah.
Yeah. And as long as people are still actively just, like, buying new computers every year or two, it's like, for them, it's like...
Well, there's no reason financially, but they still should, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, they should push innovation, right? But they're not gonna... It's not a business idea.
If as soon as sales start tapering off, if they have a product ready, that they can be like, yo, buy this.
Yeah,
and get their sales back. It's essentially... Because with any public company... Ultimately, their duty is to the shareholder. Unfortunately,
I know it's really unfortunate.
It's how public. If you're a CEO and you want to take a stand on that, your shareholders will be like, "Okay, bye."
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're like Mark Zuckerberg, where you have a majority of the shares.
Yeah.
And you, at that point, are just a public company for the sake of extra money, not you're an actual public company.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Then at that point, it's like, realistically, you do not have control as CEO.
Yeah, right. And so I can understand why they do that, and it's just unfortunate. Mm-hmm. I guess my thing, though, is I'm just really glad that AMD has pushed them into having to do this.
Yeah.
Because having 8 cores on the mainstream is a huge benefit to mainstream computing, and we need that industry to continue to explode because it's good for the little consumers. It's not just good for gamers. We have a huge splurge of content creation from smaller content creators in more niche areas coming out, and the proper way to support that, especially most content creators, I'm talking like video production primarily, need pretty good I can't talk right now, pretty high performance PCs to do that, even if they're doing like streaming or whether they're doing video editing or whatever it is. They need to be able to do that
because it's like every aspect of like every field, like there's people doing videos on now. I mean, they're like makeup videos are hugely popular.
Yeah, and it's like you have to have a machine that can edit those.
Yeah.
And unless you're running on a Mac, then you need a high performance PC. And the thing is, we needed this to happen to the mainstream where people didn't have to shell out $1,000 for an 8-core processor.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that AMD's pushed the industry into that because it helps a lot of the smaller content creators be able to do more with spending less money, which means there can be more of them and even more niche groups in that sense. And I think that's really good for the market of content creation as a whole, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what these chips are capable of. I think they're going to be monsters. They're also going to be very similar to Skylake X8 core chips. Coffee Lake does overclock a little better, as we've learned, and so we're gonna see probably 5 gigahertz on 8 cores, which is pretty ridiculous if you ask me. But I mean, they're probably gonna be $450 chips, and so AMD's still gonna have them beat in the realm of having 8 cores for like $250.
Yeah.
And that's what's so impressive. And I think if you're looking for multi-core, right? If you have reasons to have more than 4 cores or more than 6 cores, especially more than 6 cores, the likelihood is more cores is what matters, not higher frequencies. And so in a lot of those cases, it would actually make more sense to buy like a 12-core Threadripper than it would be to buy, or even maybe an 8-core Threadripper if you're a content creator and you need the expansion, than to buy Intel's 8-core. Because you get better single-core performance, but you shell out more money for that.
Yeah.
And that's maybe if you need that many cores, not necessary. Whereas, like, my setup, my 1950X runs at 3.7 gigahertz stock. I haven't even overclocked it. I may at some point, not sure on that yet, just because stability, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I overclock all the time, but just not that chip. But I haven't overclocked that because the more cores is what matters to me. And that's why I was willing to accept that, even though I knew it wasn't going to be hitting 4.5 gigahertz or higher. Obviously, Zen can't either. And Zen Plus, maybe, we'll see. But, I needed more cores. That's why I went that direction. And so I'd rather have that than, say, an 8-core or even a 12-core at higher clock speeds.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Cool. I guess. It's cool. All right, so there's a little bit of news about the Ryzen 2700X. These are leaks, not really rumors, more so confirmed, that they were able to hit a 5.8 gigahertz overclock on it. On liquid nitrogen, don't freak out. AMD didn't somehow just annihilate Intel in terms of the clock speed race, but still, that's a really good sign for regular overclocking, right? So we've got 5.8 gigahertz on LN2, sounds crazy, and I mean, we've hit higher clock speeds on other chips. I mean, even Bulldozer was capable of hitting higher clock speeds, although that's still arguable in some ways because of architecture. We're not going to talk about that somewhat flop of a series of CPUs.
Somewhat.
Well, for integer workloads, it's not a bad value. But for floating point workloads...
Okay. Not a bad value is not a way to justify a chip.
Okay, it's true. It's true. And they weren't very good.
If the best thing you can say about it is that in certain applications it was not a bad value, then it was a flop.
Okay. What I will say is there are some use cases for it. Like, I really like my 6-core 6300, which you could argue is not really a 6-core. You could argue it's a tri-core, but we're not going to get into that right now. For server applications, it's great. I mean, it has no problem handling everything I throw at it server-wise.
If Bulldozer was good, if it was not a flop, we would not now be entering the competition for the high core count.
Okay. It was a flop in terms of performance and in terms of architecture design. In most cases,
like the two most
hold on,
things.
It wasn't a flop in terms of sales. So that's more so what I was saying is it was kind of a flop. A lot of people purchased those. They were very popular chips because they were a good value, sort of. It was like there wasn't much else you could get on the market for those price ranges that could do what they could do, right? But anyway, so now I'll jump into that. So 5.8 gigahertz overclock on the 2700X. This would hint at me we could be seeing the realm of 4.5 gigahertz on proper like liquid cooling or a proper good air cooler. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, but definitely over the 4.1, 4.2 gigahertz that we've been seeing on a lot of Ryzen parts. So this is exciting to me. I think that's the one area AMD obviously needs to catch up in is proper overclocking. We need to be able to hit higher clock speeds just in general, not even just overclocking, because that's where Intel is pushing really hard right now. Rather than just core count, they're pushing the clock speeds, and that's how they're winning. Because instructions per clock wise, Zen's not that far off of Coffee Lake. It's just not. But in terms of hitting the clock speeds are pretty far off. I mean, we're talking like a gigahertz off if you're overclocking, and that's a pretty substantial performance. I mean, that's like 25% right there.
Yeah.
So I hope that AMD can start to catch up in that realm. And now that the process is more refined, it wouldn't surprise me, right?
Yeah.
So
back to the Bulldozer thing real quick.
Oh, okay.
It gave them a whopping 1% market share, and then they dropped down for a while, and then in 2013, so a couple years after it was out, it went up like 2% and then back down.
Oh, it gained them 1% market share.
It went up 1%, down 1%, up 2%.
Well, right, but it wasn't
4%.
selling none.
It didn't.
When I say flop, I mean like they didn't sell very many of them. I don't just talk market share.
I know.
Right, and so what
but
I'm saying
if
is
they're selling
they
a lot,
sold a lot of them.
If they sell a lot of them, but relative to the industry, they're selling the same amount, if their market share is not going up, then it's not a benefit. I mean,
it's not a benefit, but it's not.
They're still staying neutral.
Meaning it's not a flop.
But it flopped right there. It went down. Constantly, for years.
No, that one doesn't count. So anyway. Okay, so yes, Bulldozer was kind of a flop. Hey, that is too noisy. You're not supposed to do that. The mic's here, though. So you can come on camera if you want to do that. Yeah, you should not. Yeah, okay. So anyway, we'll keep talking. So, Z490 chipset. Did you read into this at all?
No.
Okay, so this is just estimated. It's an AMD chipset, weirdly enough.
Not weirdly enough, they're just messing with Intel.
I know, it's actually pretty funny. But anyway, this is a chipset that's rumored to be coming out at some point. The Z490 chipset from AMD. It's basically just going to have more and faster PCIe lanes. Basically, they're going to have 12 PCIe lanes instead of 8. And PCIe 3.0 rather than 2.0 like their current chipsets, which is an area that Intel's winning in is chipsets. They have their platform controller hub is pretty robust because it has PCI Express 3.0, and so you can attach more storage. Even though you only have 16 lanes of PCI Express off the CPU, those can go directly into the PCI Express slots, and you could still run like dual M.2 drives, or I think even triple now on the on Z370. NVMe SSDs through that platform controller hub and still get full speed out of them.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, direct connection to the CPU is going to give you lower latency and stuff, so there's benefits to having that. But it's just good to see AMD kind of catching up in this area. So likely what you'll see is you'll just see some AMD motherboards that have more than one full-speed NVMe slot, whereas right now anything from the mainstream, from X370, is all going to be a single proper performance NVMe SSD at PCI Express X4, whereas something like, Threadripper, obviously you have basically unlimited PCI Express lanes at this point.
Nope. But I need more.
Need more? Yeah. Anyway.
I need PCI Express slots for my RAM.
Why? DIMM slots are faster.
But I filled up all my DIMM slots.
Oh, so you need more RAM. Well, that's when you insert Optane SSDs and you send them up as a cache. My Optane SSD is technically my page file as well. And so anytime my system overflows the RAM, which is somewhat frequent, or anytime it decides to dump into page file, because as we know, Windows dumps crap into page file even when you're not low on RAM.
What you need is you need one graphics card. No, you don't even need that. Get rid of your graphics card. Get an APU. That way you have a built-in GPU. And just have Optane drives and RAM.
Yeah, exactly. And then just one Optane drive for boot. And then the rest of the Optane drives are just virtual memory.
If AMD ever gets Thunderbolt, get an external GPU dock.
And then
for
also
your graphics card.
Oh, so that I can put all the Optane internal.
That way you can have Thunderbolt for more.
Yes.
Or you can have Threadripper for all the PCI lanes for Optane.
Yes, and then still have a GPU. Yeah, so that way I can have like many terabytes of virtual memory. That's a good idea. I like the way you think.
And then you'll still find a way to buy more.
Yeah, basically. We had a conversation earlier today about how I need to buy more RAM, but it's overpriced right now. Yeah, so that's where that stems from. But anyway, for sake of not getting into that conversation and or argument, so this is something that actually we're going to talk about for a little while.
On what you should do.
We did come to an agreement. That's true. Dude JJJ Movie says yo, and
yo.
Cake Killer says Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
No, you're not doing it right. No, you don't hit the table. You hit the table enough as is. Stop touching the table.
That.
No, it's give trailer War Infinity.
No. Wakanda forever.
No, we're talking about Infinity War right now.
Yeah, they go to Wakanda.
No. Yes, but no. Okay, so anyway, all right.
Oh, I'm so excited for that movie. Like, you don't even know.
I mean, I know, because I am too.
No, not as much as me.
Okay, whatever. So anyway,
this is factual. You haven't even seen all the Marvel movies.
Okay, that's not my fault.
Yes, it is.
Shh. I'm gonna blame that one on you.
You can blame me for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Blame you for that? Oh no, we've just been a week behind. Not a big deal.
Yeah, we're not caught up.
That's true. We're not caught up. It's a beautiful show, man. Oof, the recent stuff. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna talk about this for a little while, guys.
Infinity War.
The NVIDIA GPP or GeForce Partner Program, which we've talked
Gratuitous
about.
Power play.
Gratuitous power play. I like that. So, we talked about this on several podcasts. I wrote a couple of articles about this, and in fact, I was the first news outlet to report about the Gigabyte gaming box, and then other people picked it up, and then like, oh, great! I posted that 4 days before everybody else, but nobody saw it.
That'll happen.
I'm just gonna get mad every time.
So last week we talked about the rumor that Asus was going to be releasing their AMD products under the Ares branding rather than ROG, and that's now confirmed.
Confirmed by Asus, guys. This is unfortunate, and we're angry. We should be angry, and there's a lot of questions to ask and a lot of confusion to be had.
And NVIDIA's response is, we don't respond to rumors.
Yes, that's NVIDIA's response to all the GPP stuff, which, to be honest, like, they are being so intelligent about this. What do you do when catastrophe hits as a big company? You just ignore it so the news doesn't have anything extra to report on. Like, it's very simple. It's just like, oh, okay, well now the news doesn't have it. Like, you don't give the fire anything. You don't feed the fire, and the fire goes away. It runs out of oxygen.
The NVIDIA fanboys can always say, well, there's no confirmation. This could just be Asus doing
exactly.
this.
And the thing is, too, in terms of the fire going out, like all the ragers will run out of oxygen, too. Eventually, you can only scream so long about something like this. Now we apparently have very big lungs, because we're going to scream about this for a while. I'm sorry, that was a little weird. So anyway, point is, we're going to keep talking about this, and other news outlets should keep talking about this, because this is incredibly important for people to know about, and it needs to be something that doesn't just get brushed off by the community, because that's exactly what NVIDIA wants to happen, is they want people to forget about it and stop talking about it. So, GeForce Partner Program, give you guys a little bit of quick background, although most of you probably already know. GeForce Partner Program is basically NVIDIA, and the NVIDIA was claiming that it was for brand sake. They were trying to align their brand better with companies so that they could do advertising for companies and release bundles and stuff. And there is a little bit of understanding of why a company like NVIDIA would want to do so with various add-in board partners like, say ASUS or EVGA, for example, right? But there was a report by Kyle Bennett on Hard OCP. It was the original report that some anonymous sources that he had, and generally if he writes something, it's trustworthy. So it was actually that companies had to align their gaming brand exclusively with NVIDIA, meaning they could no longer use their current gaming brand to sell various AMD products, right? In particular, GPUs in this case. And that was the concern, and people were very speculative about whether or not that was actually the case. And this confirms it in my mind. Like, this actually confirms it to me, personally. Mm-hmm. I think it probably does to you, too. Yeah. So that's a little bit of background on GeForce Partner Program as the concerns behind it. And one of the examples given was that maybe ROG could be an example. Say ROG wasn't allowed to sell AMD products under the ASUS wasn't allowed to sell AMD products under the ROG brand anymore. And that's exactly what's happening. Yeah.
So ASUS was probably the most important one to me, because they were the only ones that really had a full-on gaming brand. Everyone was just like naming.
Everybody else is like these various names, yeah, right. Which is like still like I think we both kind of agree that even so, that's still not cool of NVIDIA, but it's not a huge end of the world scenario, right? This is like, I really hope the EU and other companies like Dell and HP actually take and Intel proper legal action against NVIDIA on this. I have confidence that the EU will, and I'm pretty confident that Intel will. There's a lot of rumors going around that Intel's working on lawsuits against NVIDIA for this, which is funny. The monopoly is suing the monopoly for monopolistic practices.
It's because they want to get into GPUs.
But yeah, exactly. Now they're like, oh, we're the little guy. Now we've got to use our power, right?
If they didn't want to get into GPUs,
they wouldn't care. Yeah, exactly. Going back to this, though. So, basically, the new AMD brand from Asus is going to be AREZ. AREZ.
Which is already what they called their ROG, some of their ROG.
ARES.
Yes. They just spelled it.
Yes, they just spell it differently. So, they took that name, which is a fine name. And so, some people are like, okay, maybe this isn't that big of a deal because it's just a renaming. It's not like they can't sell AMD gaming products. It's not like they can't advertise. We have AREZ gaming products that are AMD. But with ROG in particular, it's a really, really, really big issue. And the reason being is that ROG is no longer a category or sub-brand. Realistically, to the generic consumer in this space, ROG is a brand in and of itself. They brand all their products as ROG. Not as Asus, as ROG or Asus ROG, and then sometimes a sub-brand behind that, right? So the fact that ROG itself can have sub-brands like Strix and Swift and whatever else tells you that it's more than just a sub-brand at this point, right?
It's like, while it's not technically a subsidiary, it's essentially that as far as Asus is concerned.
They have different marketing departments and stuff even. It's like ROG is really like its own company, and that's, we don't know these metrics. I'm pulling these out of my butt. I'm making these up. But I could easily imagine ROG being close to 50% of Asus's business.
No.
Because they're not as heavy in the server and stuff market anymore.
I know.
And so, in terms of, they have consumer laptops, they have some phones, right? Then ROG.
Yeah.
At that point, it's probably close to 50% of
they
their
do.
sales.
I'm pretty sure they do. They sell parts for OEM.
Okay, that's a good point. They do that.
Plus, you have to keep in mind, like, even when there's a lot of gaming sales, there's a lot of mainstream user sales.
Okay, that's true. And
they sell more phones in other countries than they do.
They do. Okay, but I would say it's still a huge portion. Is the point I'm getting at, though. Yeah,
it's ROG, a lot bigger than most companies' gaming brands would be.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge, and so that's what makes this so significant. Is to the average consumer. Say you're Joe Blow gamer. You've bought ROG laptops for the last 10 years, or ROG desktops for all your gaming products. You buy ROG, you've been happy with their quality, you've been happy with their service and support, and their style, or whatever it is, right? Whatever your preference is, you buy ROG. You walk into, say, Best Buy, and, you've owned several ROG laptops. Some have been AMD-based, some have been, Intel, NVIDIA-based, whatever, right? And you walk in to buy a new laptop. Yours is a couple years old, and you're like, I'm going to buy a new laptop. You go over to the gaming section, and you look, and there's two laptops sitting next to each other, very similar, but, they're both Asus. One's ROG and one's Ares. Which one are you going to buy? You're going to choose ROG. ROG's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. You may make the assumption that Ares is maybe a lower-end subsidiary of Asus, whereas ROG's the higher-end, if you know that Asus is even the parent company.
Yeah. For reference on how important Ares or ROG is to Asus.
Yeah.
It's literally on the header of their website, or the nav bar of their site. It's products ROG.
Yeah. And also, a good point too is Asus a lot of times isn't even on the box.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just Ares or ROG is what it was, and now it's going to be Ares. And the problem behind this is because they've been around so long. Right? Oh, what's up?
I was going to say though, I'm pretty sure on a lot of ROG boxes and stuff, it actually says. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm wrong. Okay.
Most of them do just say ROG now.
No, Asus there. Asus.
Oh, okay.
But if we go back to Ares, it's much.
It's much smaller. Okay, yeah.
That's weird.
But point is ROG's the advertised brand, not Asus, and maybe average Joe Blow gamer does or doesn't know that Asus is the parent company. Mm-hmm. Parent company treating ROG like a separate company. So you're in the Best Buy, you're looking at the two machines, and your options are either the ROG or the Ares machine. You're going to pick the ROG machine just logically because you've bought ROG before, you've been happy with ROG before, and guess what? Now ROG is only NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA gets that sale. Whereas the same scenario, if both were under ROG branding, and you go, oh hey, that one's cheaper, and you ask the Best Buy employee which one's better, and they go, oh well, the cheaper one technically performs a little better.
But they don't know that.
Well, I mean, okay, good point. But you get,
they'd be like, NVIDIA.
Yeah, okay, but you get my point, though. You get what I'm getting at here is they have a higher chance of purchasing the AMD-based laptop because it's ROG branded, right, rather than Ares branded. What?
They should do their research.
They never do that, right? And so that's where this is important, is people that don't do research is what NVIDIA is trying to harvest. And so they're farming idiots. Wait, that's really mean. So anyway,
I think that what needs to happen, and I know this won't, but for the companies that are participating in GPP, they need to put most of their advertising dollars on the established brand to establish that brand. Let NVIDIA
set that as
let NVIDIA deal with the advertising of the
right. It's like we agreed to this. You got to spend your money on it. Yeah, but who knows? Because the thing is, NVIDIA can do whatever they want. They have majority market share. And the GPP gives access, as far as we know. This part isn't 100% confirmed, but as far as we know, according to Kyle Bennett from Hard OCP, which I totally trust, it's going to give the companies that partner with them access to their engineers, access to support better, access to better supply and quicker supply and sooner supply, potentially access to properly binned chips for doing higher end tasks. Like EVGA likes to release their Kingpin series with binned chips that perform better, and so that's the issue that comes into play here. Is this is a big problem because now AMD is going to be getting hurt by NVIDIA doing this and forcing places like Asus to realign their gaming brand only with NVIDIA. Mm-hmm. But as we talked about on last podcast, what's up?
I was going to say, maybe this will end up helping AMD, though, because they're going to get some good...
It's going to be a...
good PR.
Whether or not it helps AMD...
It's still a scummy move.
It's still not cool. Yeah, it's still not okay, and NVIDIA still deserves to be sued, even if AMD benefits from it in the long run. And even if AMD benefits from it just from having a separated brand, so people can know and they can choose, like maybe Joe Blow is like, I'm an AMD fan, and they go, oh, Ares, that's an AMD product, and they just pick it up, right? So there is maybe a little bit of speculation that could happen there, but it's still not an okay move from NVIDIA. It's borderline illegal.
Yeah.
And so, if not actually illegal. Now, the confusion really sets into play for me, though. What happens to other ROG branded products? Right? Because a lot of these people buy just ROG stuff. And as you brought up last podcast, what happens with monitors?
Yeah. FreeSync monitors, G-Sync ROG monitors aren't going to work on Ares cards.
Yeah.
FreeSync monitors will work on both, but you won't get the FreeSync benefit.
Yeah, and so the confusion comes into place. So some people might make the argument of, oh, well, they can just brand their FreeSync monitors as Ares, and then you match those up, just like you match the ROG GPU up with the ROG monitor. You're right. That's true. That would make it simpler on the consumer. The one problem with that, there's lots of ROG products out there already.
Motherboards,
exactly.
Especially,
yes.
I think motherboards will be more significant than GPUs as far as sales if they change the name.
Yes, ROG motherboards are known to be.
I don't think they'll
best.
change the name on the ROG motherboards.
Yeah, I hope they don't. They shouldn't have to. Yeah. In theory, but who knows? Now, because
I don't think they would have to. I think if they did, it would be because they want the AMD stuff to line up.
Yes, exactly. And so if they do that, if they make all the AMD stuff line up, long term that is simpler for the consumer. Mm-hmm. But the problem that we run into right now is Joe Blow buys an ROG GPU 6 months ago or a year ago. And then he goes, I want a new monitor. I'm still on a 1080p thingy-mabobber. It's not very nice. I want a new one. Walks into Best Buy and is like, oh, hey, look, there's an ROG monitor. Picks it up. It's G-Sync. Literally doesn't work on his GPU.
But to be fair, that could have happened before.
That could have happened before. But there's more to it. So if they do rebrand everything as Ares, and then they walk in and they go, oh, I'm going to buy an Ares monitor, it's harder for them to select that monitor because they go, I have an ROG card. Why am I buying this Ares monitor?
As far as we know, that is up to the company.
Though. Hopefully. Although monitors might be something NVIDIA to have control over because of G-Sync and its proprietary
Everything
tech.
that we've heard, though, was just graphics cards specifically. So
yeah, that's just speculation.
Because we haven't seen a change for laptops either.
No, we haven't.
Laptops have those in it. But it's not like they have a ROG GPU. It's just a GPU.
Right. And so we have to see what happens to the rest of the lineup.
Yeah.
But I could even see confusion in an area like peripherals. Like, does Asus now need to slap 2 brands on all the peripherals? Here's keyboard, ROG brand. Here's keyboard, Ares brand. Because otherwise, gamers might be more confused, and especially ones that maybe partially have heard about this issue. They see an Ares keyboard and go, oh, well, I have... Or, an ROG keyboard, and they go, oh, I have Ares parts.
Just think, that box won't exist.
Yeah, that box. Maybe I can sell it on eBay for a lot of money. Yeah, and so
he has a box for an ROG.
Literally, Asus is black with gloss. You almost can't see it.
Yeah.
Other than the light reflecting off it. ROG is huge brand on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has an ROG RX 580 Strix.
I have a Strix, RX 580.
Ares Strix 580.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that GPU is a beast, by the way. Oh man, the Strix. DirectCU3, as you could call it, cooler, even though it's not technically called that anymore. That tri-fan cooler is just massive. I took apart my system the other day to install some new fans, and I'm just like, every time I pick it up, I'm like, jeez, this thing's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that heatsink's way overkill. That thing can cool a 1080 Ti, but it's on an RX 580, you know. But anyway, so, this is really problematic in my opinion, and I think in your opinion too. And this is something that's just not cool that NVIDIA's doing. And I hope we see some form of lawsuits come out of this because it's not okay for NVIDIA to use their, to do monopolistic practices. This is not acceptable. And because of that, I'm not going to buy NVIDIA products until a lot of this gets resolved and they hurt from it a little bit. And I think a lot of people should follow the same way.
I think GPP partners also need to be hit, personally.
The thing is, though, they're kind of forced into it, right?
No, they're not.
I mean, they are, but they aren't. Okay, so take it this way.
They will they will lose money on the NVIDIA side if they do it. They will lose money on the AMD, or if they don't do it. They will lose money on the AMD side if they do it. They can easily justify to their shareholders in this case that we aren't doing it despite the loss because we think that long-term branding changes are going to be more of an impact.
Right.
And on top of that...
Don't hit the table.
On top of that, we know that other companies are going to fight this. If we spend all this time and money branding for something that then gets reversed in 6 months,
that's problematic. Okay,
then we just wasted money.
Right. Okay. So I understand that
it is financially responsible to shareholders if they think that this is not going to last to drop it.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem of explaining it to shareholders, and here's the problem is just making that decision as a leader yourself is. You don't know who else is signing up for GPP, right?
No.
What other companies? So what if you go, okay, we're going to take
for it. You know that Intel.
Yes, but if you're going to take a big impact in terms of how many GPUs you get, and not only in terms of that, right, but not only in terms of that, also you're going to take a hit in terms of proper engineering and software support behind you, meaning your cards might legitimately not perform as good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
And you speculate, oh, well, I'm Asus, and I speculate EVGA is going to sign up for this, right? And obviously, they would. I don't see why they wouldn't. They don't sell AMD products, but you get the point, right? And they go, okay, well, we need to be able to compete with that, and if we can't get GPUs as fast, we can't compete with that. And so I can see, like, both perspectives, is what I'm getting at, I guess.
Ultimately, there's benefits and detriments to no matter which one you pick, but ultimately they still chose to go along with it.
Okay, that's true, and that's true. And I want to see companies fight against this, not just by not signing up, though. Like you and I mentioned, like, it's rumored that HP and Dell have a big problem with this, and they're not going to be signing up for the GeForce Partner Program. They should not just not sign up. They should take either legal action, or at the bare minimum, be like, we'll just won't sell NVIDIA products.
They don't sell GPUs.
They put GPUs in their products, though,
yeah,
including their OEM systems and stuff, and they advertise NVIDIA, or advertise AMD, and advertise... But
again, at least as of right now, no laptops
okay, at least of right now, right. But, like, say, for example, what if Alienware under this would have to be NVIDIA exclusive? Right? Then Dell has to release a new brand.
That's a bigger what if than the GPU thing.
That is. Right. We don't know that for sure, but if it gets worse... then if it's worse than we even speculate at this point,
yeah,
that's problematic. And so, because as an OEM, I see no reason why they wouldn't sign up for it if it just benefited them. I see no reason
why they should or shouldn't, why they could sign up for it.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. And so that's what's weird is if Dell and HP, if it's true that they're against this, that means there's a reason, there's an incentive for them to sign up, which would indicate a form of gaming brand in terms of like laptops or in terms of like desktops, right? Rather than just the GPUs themselves. And maybe it's different for OEMs versus AIBs. Maybe AIBs, it's only your graphics cards, but for places like Dell and stuff, it's like, hey, no, it's your entire gaming brand, and you have to start a new gaming brand if you want to sell these products. And so we have to wait and see what happens there, but I want to see them take action and be like, all right, we just won't sell NVIDIA stuff then.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
But they almost couldn't.
Yeah.
They almost couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a proper AMD GPU right now for the XPS 15 other than the 8809G that just came out.
And then going back to, like, Alienware.
Yeah.
There's not a proper GPU for their 17-inch.
Yeah, well...
What high-end mobile AMD GPU?
You can get 580s mobile-based, and they are pretty top-notch.
That would be stupid.
Why?
Battery life.
No, 580's Polaris-based. It's not that inefficient. It's pretty good, actually. It's not bad at all.
It would be significantly worse than a 1080.
Okay, when you're comparing like 2 hours to 1 hour battery life on a machine that's designed to be plugged in all the time, why does it matter, right?
It's
like
still,
for the 13-inch, I could totally see that.
It's also harder to cool. It also means a different design. The 580 produces more heat than the equivalent NVIDIA GPU. This is a fact.
It does, but not by as much as I think you're speculating.
But we're comparing temperatures in that. NVIDIA has their Max Q design.
Okay, right, and that's true. But you could also underclock the Polaris GPU a little bit, and then they're really, really efficient at that point.
And then they don't run as well.
But same with Max Q.
But Max Q compared to downclocking to get equivalent to Max Q's battery life?
Max Q's literally just downclocking.
I know.
At that point, though.
But as of right now, at least, AMD doesn't have things like the more optimized fan curves and stuff that
it'd be easy
Max
to develop for that kind of stuff.
I know,
though.
but
really
they don't.
Easy.
They have to. They have to do it.
Yeah, but a lot of times that's going to be done by the system integrator anyway. Like Dell, for example,
Max
or Alienware.
Q is something that is just done for them. That's why
they still have to make adjustments to the fan curves and stuff for themselves, though, because it's their machine that they're putting.
But there's have their base fan curves
that are put
and
into place.
Algorithms that NVIDIA has to further optimize them. That's what Max
Q
is about.
The algorithms are more so for temperature versus clock speeds, though. Like Max Q it's literally just optimizing for where's the most efficient point clock speed wise of this GPU.
Let me just say this. Ultimately, AMD needs to put in more work if they want to really capitalize on this GPP thing.
And they should, and hopefully they do. Hopefully Lisa Su jumps on that, because she's still managing RTG right now, Radiant Technologies
Like
group.
If they had a high-end GPU, like 1080 equivalent, that performed as well for the power consumption and heat, they could eat this up.
They could. They should. I hope they do. They need to do more about it. But anyway, that's pretty much our last piece there of PC-related news, though. So the next half hour or so is going to be about other stuff. Really quick tidbit here. The Razer Phone, pretty great phone. Lots of people have talked about it, is getting consistent updates, which is good. They just got updated to Android 8.1.
But they only had like one update.
This is the second, as far as I understand.
Okay.
But
so they're still on OnePlus's record of 2 updates when they first launched their first phone.
True, and so we gotta wait and see. But so far, it's looking good because they didn't go to 8.0; they went to 8.1. They jumped straight there. They didn't do the in betweens.
What a lot of companies.
Well, but a lot of companies will do the development. They'll start working on the development for the next version, like, or the current version, you could say, for like Pixel users, right? And then by the time they're finished doing their development for that, a new version's out, but they have to release that version.
It's a lot harder to change ship when you're a bigger company because you have so many more people working on things.
Yes, and especially if you have more custom software.
OnePlus was much faster and much more willing to jump software updates when they were first releasing their software.
Yeah, right.
And then as they grew, as they got bigger as a company, their updates slowed down. That's why, like, for Razer, I'm pretty much holding off on considering one of their phones until version 2 or 3, because updates are really important to me.
Just to see, yeah.
And I need to ensure that they're going to get them, and promises from companies don't mean jack shit.
No, they never
because
do.
A lot of companies have promised in instant or within 90 days HTC, and not gotten them for 6 months.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it doesn't mean anything at that point. There's no written form of they have to do it.
Especially when it's like the jump we see here from then skipping 8.0. 8.1 was a fairly minor.
It was.
Update,
Yeah.
So.
It's on sale at Best Buy now, though, which is cool. Just online. What?
Oh, no. There's another place that has it $100 off. I think it's Amazon.
Oh, I meant on sale in terms of... Sorry. I meant on sale
it's
for sale. Yes, that's right. I used the wrong terminology there. Yeah, so Best Buy sells this phone now, the Razer Phone. I don't know. This is a phone I've kind of been considering in some ways. Mm-hmm. But the issue... Like, I was really excited about the larger battery, and I was really excited about the front-facing speakers and the actually better performance than any phone on the market right now. Even the 845, it commonly will beat in a lot of tasks just because the cooling's so good. And, you know, but the thing for me that I've discovered is now that I use Android Auto a lot and I use Tidal a lot, I run down battery faster, so I literally just leave my phone plugged in the car, and I drive a lot every day. Mm-hmm. So except on weekends, my phone's always near 100% charge. Right, I mean, like, right now I'm probably... What am I sitting at right now? Right now I'm sitting at 87%, right? And it's almost the end of the day.
14.
Yeah. So it's like, if I'm going to do that, battery life now is, like, starting to become a more negligible thing. It's like, if I'm just going to plug it in within 4 hours of my day, right?
Mm-hmm. But if you got the Razer phone, you could get rid of that pesky headphone jack.
I hate you. I kind of want a Pixel. That's an option that I've been considering. I kind of want a new phone, right? Because I've got a broken S8, right?
That's your fault.
And that's my fault. But I also am considering just keeping this and starting to just go full off contract with everything. It's just a good option, a good route to go. And just wait till this is paid off, bill gets lower, right? So, I don't know. What do you guys think I should get phone-wise?
But if you go with that off contract and lower your bill, you're not really saving money. Because you're just buying $700 phones every 6 months.
Okay, and that's true. But that depends how often I buy
months.
them. Yeah, that's true. This is true. And so, I mean, I could go swap this out for the S9 Plus if I wanted.
For $200.
Well, that's because it's broken. But anyway, I could go swap this out for the S9 Plus, right? And and it's an improvement over this. And then if I wanted to take the S9 Plus and get, like, you know, the Note 9 when it comes out, for example, then I could do that. But
or the Note X or the Galaxy X.
Or So anyway,
foldable phones are gonna be amazing.
So Google releases a new A kit.
AIY.
Sorry.
It's like a DIY kit, but pertaining to AI.
Oh, I get the play on where I got it the whole time.
Yeah,
it's an A kit. So anyway, yeah.
So essentially, what these are, they've had these for a while now. Is kits where you can, like, build your own smart speaker or build your own AI camera that's designed to be able to, like, you can just hold it up, take a picture of something, and it can, like, analyze what it is. You can make custom software for it. It's like a way to more easily tinker with AI if you just want to do, like, fun at home stuff that's not super complicated. And the new versions that they just released, it's $50 for the voice kit, which is the speaker, and then it's $80 for the vision kit, which is the camera, obviously.
I thought it came with an eyeball.
No.
Oh.
They do come with Raspberry Pi 0Ws, though.
That's not an eyeball.
No. So they come with Raspberry Pis, and that's how they're powered. And the Vision kit also comes with the Raspberry Pi camera, version 2.
Okay.
So you're using the full Pi system for these, which is pretty cool. They're $50. I already said the price, actually. Never mind. Ignore me.
So we're going to ignore him, guys. So next topic is about... what was it? Hey, no, we're ignoring you now.
Okay.
Hey. No.
Okay. So I ordered the voice kit to tinker with because I had $15 off at Target, and these are for sale at Target specifically.
$50 off, huh?
15.
Oh.
$15 off of 50, so I paid 35.
So you paid 0.
Quick maths. Okay. Don't do it.
Quick maths. Do it. I was gonna do the whole thing, but never mind.
So okay. Yeah, it's just a really cool kit, especially if you have like a. Anyone
2 plus 2 is 4 minus 1. That's 3.
I muted it for a second because I didn't want us to get a copyright strike.
Hey, I can't say it similar enough to him to get a copyright strike. Let's be real.
They'll copyright strike you for any.
We probably get copy. I don't even pay. Let me go. You keep talking about this. I'm gonna go look and see what videos of ours have gotten demonetized.
Probably. Oh yeah, that's true.
I never pay attention to it. So anyway, you continue talking. I know. I'm gonna laugh if it's literally all of
them. Yeah, this is especially cool for like young teenagers, for example, that are like wanting to consider getting into computer science, because if you're getting into computer science now, you have to be learning about AI.
You do.
So being able to practice tinkering with it a little bit is a really good way to go.
It is. Wow.
So
wait. I think that one I just forgot. Yeah. It doesn't look like any of our videos have gotten demonetized.
So you're not big enough yet for them to be scanning your channel.
I'm not big enough yet for them to care, apparently.
Because otherwise saying fuck would get us demonetized.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we should stop saying it. Let's make a habit of not saying that anymore, so that like next week when we're huge, it's no big deal.
Yeah, next week.
Right. Well, you know what, YouTube.
Fuck you.
Yeah, basically, I mean, come on.
Actually, yes. Okay. We have to talk about YouTube. I didn't add this into the doc, but we have to talk about YouTube.
We will.
No, now.
Now? All right, we're going to talk about YouTube right now, guys. So the first thing I want to say is, yeah, it kind of pisses me off, actually, that my view count per video and my following account and my subscriber increases have decreased over the last 6 to 8 months versus the prior year when I was smaller and releasing pretty much what I'd consider garbage quality content.
You're not adapting to the algorithm.
I know, and I'm trying to do that better.
The algorithm was better suited for your type of content last year. It's not this year.
That's what I'm complaining about, though. That's what I'm complaining about, right?
But they've always tweaked the algorithm. That's just been YouTube.
I'm not mad at them for it. I'm complaining about it.
Good. But there is some stuff to be mad at YouTube about.
Yeah,
they've been suppressing channels.
That's been known for a while.
No. So what we now understand about how the system works is that the algorithm specifically has 2 close but different mechanisms. It has demonetization and then suppression.
Okay.
And so you can get demonetized and not suppressed. You can get suppressed and not demonetized. And what suppression does is, and Philip DeFranco mentioned this in his video on Monday because he's off for the rest of the week. He was just like talking about YouTube stuff in general. Yeah. But the suppression essentially keeps you off of trending, off of recommended, which means the general YouTube homepage, off of the autoplay next.
So this has come out as a real thing now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what's interesting is this has been getting looked into by various channels for a long time. One of them, we're not a political show. We're not going to bring up any of the political sides of this. Anyway, Louder with Crowder is a channel. They've had a lot of this stuff happening where they have videos that blow up but never get on trending, never get on people's homepages, never go into people's subscription inboxes sometimes even.
Well, the subscription inboxes is different. Subscriptions have always been broken on YouTube.
They have, right. But you get the point.
And a lot of channels that put out lots of content see that more.
Which makes sense, yeah.
And so, Philip DeFranco sees it a lot. Crowder sees it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, even IGN, I've seen some of the staffers mention that a lot. Subscriptions somehow are really broken on YouTube.
It's frustrating. And this is why you need to click the little bell icon so that you get the emails from channels you care about.
But even if you don't click the bell icon, sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't, depending on what the algorithm wants.
Exactly. So sometimes you will get an email notification and other form of notification that somebody uploaded a video.
Ultimately, getting successful on YouTube relies on 2 things right now. Consistent posting.
Which is something we're working on. I will be talking about that
and the algorithm. That's it. That's all that matters.
There's nothing else. Yeah,
if you post consistently for multiple years on end...
It doesn't matter if it's even that great of content.
Yeah. If you post consistently for years on end, eventually you'll be there at a time when the algorithm is good for you, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
If
and
you
so
don't
consistency has always been important on YouTube, and that's something like that we haven't been doing particularly good at recently because I was trying to take on more than I could, and so now, in case you guys that follow the channel consistently, I guess this is a great time to bring it up, but I'm reducing the channel's content to 1 to maybe 2 videos a week, not including WordCast. So it'll be a Monday video is what it's going to be, and it's going to be the best content that I am comfortable putting out and making, rather than putting out content that I'm not really comfortable releasing because this is not my top quality, but I do it anyway because I was trying to keep up with a specific Monday, Friday upload schedule. Now, when other people like him or Mirko do videos for the channel, or if I have channel updates or something, you may see those on like a Friday. Yeah. But Monday is going to be the consistent quality video. And as I have more time and get larger and get better at doing this kind of stuff and doing this kind of testing that I do, we'll be moving into probably 2 uploads a week again. Yeah. But it's just been, I've been having trouble with time because I have time to get the content done and make good quality content, but I don't have time to do that and also do the things necessary that the content's about. I don't have time to do the cable sleeving projects or the various benchmarking that I do or voltage mods to graphics cards, stuff like that we'd like to do on this channel. It's like I can't do that if I have to get a video out on that day. The filming's
especially if you want to post articles.
Yes, because daily articles should be becoming a thing really soon here. Actually consistent daily articles, not me saying we're planning to do that, right? I want that to be a thing, and that's going to be I'm really trying to make that a habit, and I love doing it anyway, right? Like, I love doing the content for the channel, don't get me wrong, guys, but it's like, for me, what I do here, I have to have enough time to actually do the things that I enjoy, because while I do enjoy videography and editing and the other stuff like that, and I have a machine that's built for it, it's like, I built this channel to talk about the things that I enjoy and I spend my recreation time doing. And those things I don't have time to talk about when I'm focusing too much on this. Like, I love videography, but it's not my primary niche, right? That's more the kind of stuff that I do content about. And if I can't finish those projects, what's the point of the channel? So just so you guys are aware, you should see a Monday upload that's high quality and of the best I can make. Should be starting this Monday, but there hasn't been stuff for a couple of weeks other than WordCast because of that. I've been trying, I took a break. I didn't make a channel update about it because I didn't want to make any promises I couldn't keep, and just talk to him and other people about it. I was like, what can I do here? What can I do to make this successful? Because clearly what I'm doing is not working to drive it to proper success. It's like the here and there videos that hit 10K views, like that's great, but every time I upload, it's like these basic videos with crappy thumbnails of me talking about a project that I'm kind of doing don't work very well. Even projects as niche as cable sleeving, proper thumbnails and better content, and it's like instead of getting 20 or 30 views, that was approaching, I mean, I'll check, but I think it was like a couple hundred, right? Or a couple thousand might have even been. So anyway, but to continue to talk about, YouTube. So I just figured that'd be a good time to bring that up, to mention that to everybody. But we did hit 1,300 subscribers though, so boom. That was that probably sounded great in the mic.
Yeah. YouTube has acknowledged some problems pertaining to the demonetization, but not yet the suppression, which is problematic.
Why did I get this when I clicked videos?
Because YouTube's having an error.
YouTube's having an error, apparently.
But the single biggest thing YouTube's needed to work on for a while, they still haven't worked on, which is communication with creators. Yeah. Ultimately...
And that costs a lot of money, but...
Ultimately, things are starting to actually... Like, people have said for a while now, like, why don't you just leave the platform?
Yeah.
Things are starting to reach a tipping point where that's going to happen.
It's going to happen, yeah. And if a company like Pornhub, which has legitimately talked about potentially releasing an actual creator outlet for people, starts to do that... It's going to happen. Now, the thing is, it has to be done right, because one of the biggest things about YouTube is anybody can upload anything, right? Whereas, like, we had VidMe that was around for a while, and it was like, well, you can only upload a certain amount until you were certified. Becoming certified took bloody forever.
But that was how YouTube was when it launched as well, to be fair.
It was, because it's so expensive.
That's just, a matter of managing the data.
It is. And that's so expensive, but a company like Pornhub, they have the money to do something like that. Like, they have the financial backing and the technical backing to handle stupid amounts of video.
Yeah. they've said that the reason that they haven't done it yet is because they're trying to figure out monetization. That's the single hardest thing to get right, is to be profitable with this. YouTube is
right.
Not,
and how does
YouTube
Pornhub approach Walmart and say, hey, we're releasing a video platform to monetize for us, right?
Make it a subsidiary.
It's going to be a subsidiary, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, just knowing that Pornhub is a parent company.
What'll happen is they'll release a subsidiary. That subsidiary will become more popular than the base thing. Eventually, they'll rename, or they'll just get rid of the base thing and then integrate it into the subsidiary, and then we'll just have a regular YouTube site with porn.
So what you're telling me...
And my cycle was just the cycle of Justin.tv, Twitch.
Yeah.
Justin.tv goes away, Twitch becomes the parent company.
Well, I mean, even
now
YouTube kind of did the same thing in a little way.
Not
bit.
Really.
Well, Google bought YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube kept gaining in popularity. Now YouTube's talked about as a separate company pretty commonly.
But the difference is that Google didn't get rid of Google.
Yeah, right.
And
I know, but they're part of the way there.
Into YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ultimately, the reason that YouTube
and then start banning and cracking down on people that are streaming unrelated content.
Yeah.
Twitch, stop it.
The reason that YouTube makes sense under the Google plethora of companies is that ultimately, despite YouTube being a good place to look at videos, it's a good place to find videos. It's a good place to search for videos.
It's the second biggest search engine on the planet.
It's a good place to search for videos, except for the ones being suppressed.
Yeah. And so that's where a lot of this becomes problematic, and this is not okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, I reach out to lots of platforms, right? I was on VidMe for a long time until they shut down. I've been on Facebook for a long time, video-wise. I know, but I have, right? It's another video platform. If Floatplane ever becomes I can sign up for. If there's ever the ability for me to, I'm jumping right on that, right? I would do Vimeo, but I'm not paying for you to host my service. Sorry. I understand why they do it. It's cool, but sorry. Twitter video, we're looking into that, into uploading there too, because I'm sick of YouTube. I want to reach out to more content, and even though I don't pay attention to my Facebook viewership, it's probably mostly friends and family that watch. That's fine. Right?
And however many people watch it, it's probably triple the views that it actually is.
That's true. That is completely true.
That's my biggest problem with Facebook's video, is you don't actually know... Like, they've never even confirmed they fixed that. As of right now, we don't know what viewer counts are on YouTube.
Facebook doesn't know how to fix anything. They can't control data.
They know how to fix things. They don't want to.
Yeah, see, so a lot of our videos get, 10 or so views.
So,
it's
3.
Yeah, right. But you get the point, right?
For those that don't know what I'm talking about with that, because of Facebook autoplays videos...
Wait. We're dropping everything. Okay, It's jumping back up. It's going back up. I think we're going to go green.
Yeah, look at the quality on this.
Well, yeah, I mean, it stopped playing on Twitch. Okay, the quality's starting to go back up. Comcast had a hiccup, I guess. Okay, it should go back up to full speed here soon, guys.
Look at these frames.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sometimes when it goes out, though, the frame rate never comes back appropriately.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, well. Okay, anyway, yeah. So what we were talking about, though, is YouTube demonetization. I think we've only been down for a few seconds. I just noticed that it was being weird. But, anyway...
I forgot what I was going to say.
I know, I did. Why? Internet stops.
Get better,
please.
Comcast. Get off business class. You'll have more consistent internet.
So
Search
painful.
your feelings. You know it to be true.
Oh, man. Okay. Anyway, I swear I'm going to have an aneurysm just because Comcast. I probably already have.
Yeah. Your brain cells have gone down into the angstroms.
Right. Yes, exactly. Wait, is the angstroms a part of the body?
Okay, so SpaceX...
so you're going to talk about this.
Yes. So
I'm going to go use the restroom.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you have to be here for this. This is cool.
I guess this is a cool part. Okay.
Okay. Plus, we only have 20 minutes left.
This is true.
SpaceX...
But we're probably going to go over.
No. SpaceX today launched NASA's new TESS satellite, which they were supposed to have launched Monday. However,
guys, we're gender neutral. It's not a male or female satellite just because it's called TESS. Okay,
dude, stop. So TESS stands for Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite.
Okay.
As always with this type of stuff, it has an acronym.
Oh, of course. I mean, I would assume TESS isn't literally what they like. We'll just call it TESS. Why not? Right? Yeah. No.
And so by that name, you can probably tell it is obviously meant to find planets. It's a surveying satellite. However, what's interesting, so currently...
NASA had SpaceX launch their satellite.
That's normal.
I just find it funny.
NASA doesn't have a rocket to launch.
I know. I just still find it awkward.
I
know why they do it. It's logical, but it's just funny.
It's
just funny to think about.
It's not logical. The only reason they can't launch their own satellites is because every 4 to 8 years, their entire mission changes.
That's true. That's true. So, it does.
Not going to get into that because I could go on for a while.
Can we ever have their mission to be to destroy the universe?
No.
Why not? That's what I'd make their mission.
That's why you're... Well, in our country, you might get to be president with that.
Be like, we're gonna make NASA destroy the universe. Woo!
So, this is meant to find new planets. The current mission, or the current satellite used to do that is the Kepler satellite. You may have heard of it.
Yes.
This satellite covers an area 400 times larger than Kepler.
Larger, not longer. Keep that in mind.
Okay. It's expected
I mean literally, it's not 400 times deeper into space that it can look for, right?
It's expected to find 20,000 plus planets. That's a lot. And this is going to be very important.
If we expect it to find 20,000 planets, why don't we just declare there's 20,000 more planets?
Because even if we know there's planets, we don't know anything about them.
I'm kidding.
So the key thing with the TESS satellite for the first few years is going to be finding targets that are important for the James Webb Space Telescope to look at, because the Webb Space Telescope will be able to look deeper.
Right.
We'll be able to get more information from planets far away. That is being manufactured by, I think, Boeing and Lockheed, their joint organization, which is why it's delayed so often, because they suck.
Good old.
As of right now, it's delayed till 2020.
Boeing's the more of the issue here too, right? Not Lockheed.
I don't expect it to launch until 2021.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay.
Which is very unfortunate because this was supposed to launch next year. This is a very important satellite. Very expensive satellite.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The TESS satellite, on the other hand, was a relatively cheap satellite. The entire mission's budget was $200 million. $80 million went to the launch, which is why they went with SpaceX. If they would have gone with Boeing and Lockheed, that would have been probably $150 million. So their price of their satellite.
Yeah.
Which also, though, because of the low budget of this mission, they went with a fairly unusual orbit. So normally they go around like in a similar-ish orbit to the moon. Not really in the same orbit, but like that direction. Mm-hmm. This is 90 degrees.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And it's on a 2-to-1, so that essentially every time, because
so it's going to run into the moon someday.
No, so let me explain. It actually does. It's going to do a gravity assist using the moon.
Oh. Okay.
And then its orbit technically does at one point line up with the moon's orbit. However, they've designed this orbit, and they had to launch it at a very specific time of day to hit this. Is that every time it crosses that path with the moon's orbit, it's at a 90-degree location, whether it's up or down. It's up, or it literally is on a 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
So it's always, when it crosses the moon's path, the moon is on the other side. When the moon crosses its path, it's 90 degrees, so it can never hit the moon.
Okay.
It's able to stay in this orbit stably for over 10 years.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. That is awesome. That is awesome.
This orbit's, from my understanding...
Is it officially in orbit to the point now where it's not like it's not misaligned? We know it's good now.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because this was only launched a couple hours ago.
Oh, that's right.
So it wouldn't even be by the moon yet to do its gravity assist.
Okay, because that's what I was wondering is, like, I want to find out once we get it in orbit, it's like, okay, now we know it's consistent. We didn't break things.
So this, I believe this orbit's never been done before.
Okay.
For anyone that's interested in this, like, space stuff, I highly recommend the YouTube channel Scott Manley. He does a lot of, like, general space videos plus Kerbal Space Program, and it's really cool because he mixes in real-life missions with Kerbal Space Program stuff to make it easier to understand.
Oh, okay.
That's how I found out. I was, like, watching a video he did about the orbit of this because it's super interesting.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, this was...
exciting.
Yeah, it's going to find a lot of planets. It's going to really help with the James Webb mission, so...
Okay. Very cool. All right, so T-Mobile One did something cool here?
So T-Mobile is offering a special deal for people in the military. Now,
and as usual, we're approaching the end. All of a sudden, a bunch of people jumped on board. So anyway...
It's not uncommon for cell phone carriers to offer some sort of a military discount, but normally it's pretty minor. just like all discounts.
It's like 5 or 10%,
yeah.
something in that realm.
What T-Mobile's doing is half off of all of the additional lines.
Okay.
So I wanted to specify that right away because a lot of articles I've seen are saying T-Mobile's offering half off family plans. Not really.
No, yeah, that's not how that works.
Because they're not. So the base rate for the line of $55 is still the same price for the first line. But every line after that is half off. So normally you pay $55 for the first, $50 for the second,
and then
20
for the
after.
rest, yeah.
This time you're paying $55, $25, and $10.
That's significant. Yeah. That's really significant.
If you have, like, you know, if you have a mom, dad, and 2 kids, that's a,
or get all your friends on board.
Yeah. But, I mean, even just, like, a normal, like, 2-child, 2-parent family, that's $45 off a month from just the cellular service.
Wow. Yeah.
So...
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. And also half off the Galaxy S9 series with the 24 monthly bill credits. So.
Yeah, so essentially you
So is it half off? So it'd be like 15 instead of $30 a month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you get charged 30 and you get a credit for 15. So it gives you that same.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Okay, very cool. That's actually really cool. I like that. That's really good. They're doing that. Okay. Yeah. I appreciate what T-Mobile does, and the T-Mobile One program is awesome.
Yeah,
so.
And then like for T-Mobile Tuesday this week, they did everything was pretty much like environment focused.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He forgot to do it, but you could pick one of a few different organizations or specific projects to help to, and T-Mobile would contribute money based on the amount of the percentage of people.
They contribute or contribute?
Yes, contribute.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, for example, I picked restoring reefs, barrier reefs, underwater.
That's
which is
probably
awesome.
the one I would have picked, too. I saw it, and I was going to do it, but I was busy.
You literally just had to click...
I was at work.
You literally had to click one button.
I thought there was going to be a sign-up form.
You're literally just picking which one you want them to contribute to. You're not contributing.
I know, but I didn't click. I didn't go further, so I didn't see if there was... Yeah.
But and then also what they were doing was if you tweeted out #TreeMobile, they would plant a tree up to 50,000.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. That's sweet.
And they even got like with Twitter to where it did the actual tree emoji after.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's excellent. So, okay. Sweet. Okay, so the next thing, Google's working on Alt-OS mode for the Pixelbook.
Which could allow it to run Windows.
Could run Windows.
Yes.
Which is interesting. Basically, they're giving driver support.
Kind of. It's integrated in the Chrome OS build.
Oh, interesting. But it's not emulation, though?
No.
Okay, interesting.
Essentially, it would be kind of like how Apple handles dual booting through their own software method.
Okay.
And so references to this Alt-OS mode were found in the latest Chrome OS build. One mentioned an internal Google document named go/vboot-windows, which indicates Windows will be one of the platforms supported, blah, blah, blah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And weird.
Which, it's weird, but it also makes sense. Because, I mean, think about it. What's the biggest reason people don't buy Chromebooks?
Application support, because no Windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense on Google's front. I'm just trying to decide if it makes sense on Microsoft's front.
I mean, Microsoft doesn't have anything to do with it. If you're allowing people to install Windows, they just buy Windows and install it.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's true.
Microsoft doesn't have to do any extra work to support this hardware. It's just an i5 and a regular SSD and 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, okay.
Or an i7 and 16 gigs.
So it's pretty simple.
And it's like, if they had one of these with the Intel AMD combo GPU...
You'd buy it.
Yeah. Because think about it. You have Windows for the application work, and if you're ever for a day, I'm just going to be doing some document stuff, I'll switch into Chrome OS, I'll get better battery life.
Yeah.
And I'll get more work done.
Makes sense. I like it. I do like it. I wonder if they'll ever bring it to other Chromebooks. We'll have to wait and see.
Intel run ones, I don't see why not.
Yeah, because then maybe my system could get it, which would be awesome since I have 64 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM, and just a really fast Celeron. So it makes sense for me to run
especially for the
Windows.
Pixelbooks, the base one comes with 128 gigs.
Yeah, for the Pixelbook it makes sense. I'm being sarcastic.
That's why I was ignoring you.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. So some news about Tesla, and then some more news about Tesla. So Tesla's halting Model 3 manufacturing?
For not for too long, but yes, they are.
Couple years?
So no.
Oh.
So recently there was a video put out with, it was like an interview and like factory tour with Elon Musk about the Model 3 factory in California. And Musk finally acknowledged something as to the cause of the problems for the Model 3 not being manufactured to the amounts that he stated they would be.
Right.
And it was, oddly enough, too much automation.
It's very odd because it's coming from Elon, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but hey, I mean, some things it's just automation's maybe not ready. You know, for a lot of things in that case.
Or the automation wasn't designed well enough.
Yeah, exactly. Which in that case, he's probably going to be taking up pissy with some of the contractors that do the automation work for him.
Pretty much, it's Elon. He probably oversaw everything.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's things that you can't always account for.
Yeah, when you're like doing new stuff.
A lot of the problems. So essentially, the way that they did it, there was 3 different sections of their factory: the assembly of the body, the assembly of the hardware, like the motors and batteries and stuff, and the merging of those. And the biggest problem was with the merging of them.
Okay, that makes sense.
A lot of it had to do with like how the parts got there, a lot of other things. So essentially what they're going to be doing, they're halting manufacturing, they're tweaking the manufacturing line, they're trying to get more people in there. And the goal is that they're going to be working 24/7. Their new goal, instead of 5,000 cars per week, is get more people in there and do 6,000 cars per week.
Okay.
That way, you can have up to 1,000 cars per week have issues. You can deal with those issues, modify your supply line, you have more room for leeway.
Okay, that makes sense.
Elon Musk is essentially saying 5,000 cars per week with room for error.
Okay, that makes sense. I hope it happens because my next vehicle is probably a Model 3. Like, it probably is. I'm going to stick with what I have. I have a 2000 Chevy Astro van, and I'm going to stick with that till I can buy one.
Not just is he sleeping on the couch that there's a crowdfunding campaign to replace.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But he's also sometimes camping out on the roof. Like, he actually put out an Instagram picture of him and some people having a fire on the roof of the factory.
That's excellent.
Like a campfire,
That's excellent. Hey, I mean, if you care about your work that much, go for it, right? That's awesome. That's super awesome. So I love that he's doing what he's doing and that he's working so hard for it. It's great. And I'm glad that, that fans helped him raise money for a new couch.
The dude owns 5 mansions. Just stop.
I find it hilarious that you have this guy that his net worth is estimated around $20 billion. Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay. But
no, the one that he's sleeping on.
Oh, the old one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not wide enough for me to sleep on.
Yeah, and you guys can see him. So anyway,
wow,
that's not a mean thing to say.
I said it.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, he's estimated to be worth about $20 billion.
Yeah.
Right. And people like him enough to crowdfund him a couch.
Yeah.
It's great. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Now they should build a porch and put it on that.
Okay, so anyway, Tesla's batteries degrade slower than expected.
Yeah, so this is really cool. So essentially where this comes from, there is a group,
there was reports about this a while ago, and this is just
but we have more information. So
now. Yeah.
There's I believe it's Norway, but there's a group
There's no way?
There's a group of Tesla owners that have a publicly viewable Google Docs, or Google Sheets, I guess, spreadsheet going on, and they... essentially they constantly put in how much battery life or how much mileage they can get, how many miles they have. They constantly update this. And so we've been seeing over time how much their batteries have been degrading.
Okay.
Initially it was about 5% after 50,000 miles. And then as everything normalized on the car, the degradation slowed down. And now we're seeing it after about 160,000 miles, they've degraded less than 10%.
Which is, I mean, that follows very similarly to like how phone batteries function. You know, so you first get it, battery life's like 10 out of 10. After a month, it kind of drops a little, and then it stays steady for like a year, and then goes. So it's just a matter of finding the time where degradation starts to speed back up.
Yes.
And maybe that's 200,000 miles. Maybe that's 250,000 miles. At a point where all of a sudden, then it's like the next 50,000 drops like 40 or 50%.
It also depends on how the batteries heat up when they're charging. Because that's one of the biggest problems with mobile phones is the batteries heat up
with
more.
Quick charge, especially.
With quick charge.
And then you've got people like me that quick charge their phone in the sun in a vehicle with the screen on.
Yeah. So. But also it's like... cases keep in some heat, people that charge their phone on like their bed keeping some heat or keeping a lot of heat, that kills your battery.
It does. Yes.
And so you know, if you do slow charging but you do it wirelessly, that adds heat.
Leaving your phone on the charger all the time is not bad for it. It's the heat that's bad for it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think a lot of people have misconceptions about.
That's the bigger problem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's the problem with leaving it plugged in all the time is very negligible now, right? Yeah. You know, it's like over a year, it's 5% impact or something. And so that's why, like, it's okay to leave your phone plugged in while driving or whatever, for example. Like, I know a lot of people that do that. The problem is the sun starts to degrade it as well as just time.
Yeah.
Heat and time. Yeah.
So.
Okay, so Boosted, right?
Boosted came out swinging with some new announcements. So for those that don't know, Boosted boards.
Don't try to go to their website.
Yeah, they're having issues.
Yeah, they're
Boosted boards are electric skateboards. If you watch Casey Neistat, you know what they are because he was pretty much the one that popularized them.
Yep.
Ever since then, even he said there's been two major problems: the size and the price. They're too expensive because the regular Boosted boards start at like $1,400.
Right.
And because they were long boards, they were so big, you couldn't carry them with your arm like at rest while walking. You had to like hold it up a bit.
They were heavy too. They were pretty heavy too.
The weight wasn't so much the problem as it is just not being able to rest your arm. If if your arm was at a normal position, it would drag on the ground, so you had to hold it up like this, even for someone that's taller like me.
Yeah, that's just not comfortable.
And so they've dealt with that, along with announcing two new longboards. So they've essentially announced 4 products. They have all of the products have a new wheel design. Although there's different sizes based on which board you go with. There's new composite for the board. I believe that the controllers got upgraded slightly.
Okay.
So it's just an all-around upgrade across the line. For the regular longboards, they have the Boosted Plus, which is just essentially the Boosted Board 2, but with these new features.
Okay.
And then they have the Boosted Stealth, which is even faster. It goes 24 miles an hour and is all black.
It's pretty good looking. Nice. It's really nice looking.
And then they have the interesting announcement, the Boosted Mini line. So this is a regular skateboard with a regular tail, so it's easier to turn because it has the tail. It is also easier to carry because it's small.
Yeah.
And it's also cheaper. It starts at $750. Almost
for the
half
Mini S,
the price.
and that one is TSA safe, meaning that battery is under 99 watt hours.
Yeah, so
that means that the battery in that is about the size of the battery in this laptop, and it can go 14 miles an hour or 18 miles an hour for 7 miles. Yeah.
So that was the thing is like essentially when you're looking at these, there's two things you decide on.
It says something about the efficiency of computers, man.
Yeah.
Same battery can get a person.
Yeah. There's two things that you want to decide on with this. You want to decide on the range that you need, and if you're going to travel with it. Ultimately, the speed is negligible difference between the Boosted Mini S and the Boosted Mini X.
Yeah, it's just
2 miles an hour.
Range that's...
They both have the same hill grade climb of 20%, which is pretty incredible for a small board.
That's pretty steep,
The regular boards do... the long boards do 25%.
That's really steep.
Yeah.
That's really steep at that point.
I would not feel comfortable riding up a skate on any board at 25%.
Yeah, me neither. Batteries die on the way up. Oh,
not even
man.
that.
No,
just like you hit something and fall off.
Yeah. No, that kind of grade, the 25 to 30% range of hills is just like, I don't want to walk up this. You know, it's like, no, this is where stairs come into play. But 14 mile range, right, on the X, which is cool. Pretty crazy.
I could get down to work with that.
Yes. Now I couldn't, but that's because my commute daily consists of about 58 miles.
Yeah. $750 for the Mini S, $1,000 for the Mini X. And then the longboards all have the 14 mile per hour because they're not designed for travel, they're bigger.
14 mile range?
Or 14 mile range.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. Makes sense.
And then it's 20 and then 24 for the longboards. Okay. And then 18 and 20 for the regular skateboards.
Okay.
So there's advantages and disadvantages to both. It's ultimately going to depend on the person as to if you need or if you should get the mini or the regular.
Yeah.
But price is a big factor. For me, I've wanted one for a while. Now that there's the $750 version, I'm considering the Mini S.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense.
Yeah, these are pretty cool.
They're pretty awesome. That's the last thing we have to talk about, though, huh?
Yeah.
I guess we're done on time today, guys. I'm sorry. We were late, but we're done on time. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
We should just end the stream.
Just click bye.
Yeah.
Click.
No, don't even say goodbye. Like, we're done on time. And
that'd be pretty great. That'd be pretty great. Well, anyway, everybody, thank you for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your comments down below of what you think of the show. We love to hear from you guys. Definitely come join us. We do this at not 9. Woo, that was the old time. 8 p.m. Pacific time every Wednesday. We go till 10 p.m. Pacific time. That's where we are.
And occasionally we contemplate starting on time.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, or we'll be ready to start on time and then we just won't. So anyway, though, yeah. So thank you everybody for watching. There's also a link to subscribe to an email subscription down there if you want to get notified a couple of hours before we start. A reminder that, hey, we're doing this tonight or whatever. But I think that's it. So, yeah, I guess